Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah and today I'm back with a reading vlog. My reading this month has not been going so well, which is such a shame because in July I had like the best reading month of the year. And it's not because I'm not liking the books, I'm really struggling to concentrate and give the books my full attention, which is quite frustrating. It's not that I'm not spending the time reading, because I'm still trying to spend like an hour at least in the morning and sort of like half an hour, 45 minutes before I go to bed reading, which, you know, is plenty of time. I just feel like my mind's been a bit all over the place. The start of the month, I think I got into a little bit of a reading slump because I was watching so much of the Olympics, and I love the Olympics, so like I kind of knew that was going to happen because it's just it's such addictive viewing, especially in the evening when they show you all of the highlights of what's happened throughout the day. So the first sort of like week and a half was a bit of a write-off. I was still doing a bit of reading, but like I didn't have as much reading time really. And then since then I think I've just been struggling a little bit, but I have been reading some really good things, and like I can see that they're good. I just don't feel as invested in them as I would if I was like in a really good reading mood. So that's a bit of a shame. So I thought this weekend I would try to hold myself a little bit accountable and make sure that I am spending the time reading, trying to engage with what I'm reading a bit more deeply. So it's Friday evening and I have basically the weekend to myself. I'm working tomorrow, but my boyfriend has gone on holiday for the weekend and he's taking the car with him, which means that I can't really go very far, so I probably will spend quite a lot of time reading. My work is about 10 miles from my house, and I can cycle to work during the summer, so that's perfect. I have an e-bike, which makes life a lot easier, so I cycled to work today. I literally just got home. And I'll do the same tomorrow, but apart from that I don't really have any huge plans for the weekend. I have a couple of really busy weekends coming up. I have a friend visiting next weekend, and then the weekend after I have family visiting, so it'll be nice to just have a nice relaxed weekend, and yeah, I thought I would take you along. So I'll quickly talk to you about what I'm reading at the moment. I am almost finished Garden Stories. This is a Everyman's Pocket classic sort of collection of stories featuring gardens, which I thought would be really good for summer, because everything's sort of in bloom. Well, it's starting to die a little bit now. It's like the 23rd of August today, so we are sort of getting towards the end of summer. But yeah, I thought I would like have nice lush descriptions of gardens, which it did. It does. But I think that, you know, this is like a collection of stories from completely different authors, so you're always going to connect more with some than with others. And I've got like 2 or 3 stories left in this. I'm like very close to the end, and from my experience so far, I'd say that I much preferred the stories at the start of the collection. I think that's because of the way that they've grouped the stories. The first section is called Avid Gardeners, and there are stories in it from Jamaica Kincaid, Elizabeth von Arnhem, Doris Lessing, Henry David Thoreau, L.P. Hartley and William Maxwell, and those ones like really did feature the sort of lush descriptions of gardens and just like musings about gardens. Some of them weren't really like narrative stories, like the Jamaica Kincaid one was just her talking about some of the things that she likes to grow, and the same with the Doris Lessing. It wasn't really a story, it was more just like reminiscences about gardens. Then the next section was Garden Pleasures and Sorrows, and I liked some of those ones as well. So there was one by Colette, one by Virginia Woolf, which I really liked, Kew Gardens. It was really excellent. And then Catherine Mansfield's The Garden Party, a D.H. Lawrence story, a bit from My Antonia by Willa Cather, which has been on my radar for a while, and I really like this section, like this excerpt from it, so I'm very tempted to pick that up. And then one by Jane Garden, who I'd never heard of before. So those 2 sections I really liked because they were sort of like descriptive writing about gardens, about flowers, and then it got a bit weird. So there's a wild garden section and then a humour in the garden, and the humour in the garden is where I started to get a little bit bored, just because a lot of the stories are a bit older. I'm now on Gardens of the Imagination, and like the first story in that was a Nathaniel Hawthorne story called Rappaccini's Daughter, and I kind of skim read it. It's like 30 pages long. A lot of these are like really quite short stories. Like as you can see there, it's not like a particularly long book, and there must be like 30-35 stories in it. And yeah, that one I kind of did speed read it. And yeah, I've got a story by Italo Calvino, a J.G. Ballard, and a Matsuda Oko story to go. So I think I will finish this evening probably, and I can let you know my final thoughts. And then I also have been reading the Radetzky March by Joseph Roth. I am 190 pages through this out of 330 pages. So I actually made pretty good progress. I only started this this week, maybe like Tuesday. I'm not sure. Anyway, it doesn't matter. And this is really good actually. I basically had no expectations going in. It's a library copy. This is set during like just before World War One, sort of during the decline of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. And in it we follow, it says 3 generations, but it's really just about, well, so far about 2 generations of men. So the main one that we're following is Karl Joseph, and he is quite a young man in this. He is a lieutenant in the army, and his grandfather had basically saved the emperor's life in a battle. He had taken a bullet for the emperor and he was made a hero. He's never met his grandfather. He died before he was born. And he has sort of like not a strained relationship with his dad, but his dad's a very different person. His dad is like a sort of civil servant. He's in a bureaucratic role, and it's from both of their perspective, the son and the father, and they're both sort of reflecting on their family legacy, because before the grandfather took a bullet for the emperor, they came from quite a poor background. They're sort of labourers. So it's dealing with this, like, I guess, the legacy of one man's action and how it's changed the course of their lives. Also how intertwined that is with the Austro-Hungarian Empire. So it's really interesting, and it's sort of just like jumping back and forth between the father and the son, and talking about like the son's difficulties in the army and the father's like relationship with his servants. Really enjoying it. So I'm definitely going to try and finish this one this weekend. Probably not tonight. Probably maybe I might finish it tomorrow. So yeah, my plan for the evening is finish the garden stories and read a bit more of the Radetzky March. It's about 6:30. I have some Pilates to do. I used to go to the gym, but it was honestly taking so much time out of my life because there's not a gym in the village that I live in. The closest gym is like about a 20-minute drive, and I was just spending so much time going back and forth to the gym. So I quit my gym membership and I joined Form. It's like a Pilates strength training app. If you join in a yearly membership, I think it works out about like £8 a month, which is not too bad. And I really like the workouts. So I've been doing that like 5 times a week. So yeah, I have like a leg strength session this evening to do before I have my dinner, which I'm really not looking forward to, because I've been trying to do a little bit more running. Like I have like always run, but like over the last year it's not really been a priority for me. I've been running like twice a week for sort of like half an hour each time, without any huge purpose, but I'm feeling more motivated again for my running, so I'm really trying to get a bit faster, work on my distances a bit, and so my legs have been very, very sore, so I'm like trying to not push it too hard so that I get injured. It's a bit of a balancing act. So yes, I'm going to do some Pilates and then make myself some dinner and sit down to do some reading. So yes, that's my plan for this evening. So I thought I'd just quickly talk you through my dinner. It actually looks disgusting, but it's gonna be really nice. So I got some chicken with romesco sauce, and then I made a chickpea mash with some broccoli, and then just a few olives on the side. So yeah, I'm going to sit and eat this and read the last couple of stories in my garden stories collection, and I will check in with you later. Hello, so it's the next morning and I have finished my garden stories book, so that's very good because I think I've been reading it now for about 3 weeks. I maybe started it like right at the start of August, and I've sort of just been reading like a story a day, which for me works pretty well because I find if I read like lots of short stories back to back, I start to just get like a bit bored. I'm not the biggest lover of short stories, to be honest, but I do think it's a really good way to sample lots of different authors' work, especially in an anthology. So yeah, I finished that last night. So I read 3 stories. I can't remember the names of them, but I read one by Italo Calvino called Enchanted Garden, which was okay. I was expecting it to be like a bit weirder than it was. It was only a few pages long and it was fine. I then read The Garden of Time by J.G. Ballard. I had no idea what this story is about, but I'm pretty sure that Jack Edwards had posted a video saying that this was the theme for the Met Gala this year, like based on this short story, which I'm very confused by because I don't really see how you could base theme a party off of this short story, but I did quite like it. It's about a couple who are living in this house and there is an army approaching and they have this garden of flowers that could basically, each flower that they pick turns back time, but they're running out of flowers and the army is getting closer and closer. It's quite an interesting concept for a story. And then the last story I'd actually already read. I read the Penguin Book of Japanese Short Stories last year. Yeah, last year. And it's called Planting by Matsuda Oko. And yeah, as I started reading this, I was like, I think I've read this before. So that was like the last story, and it was the only one I had already read. Oh, that's not true. There was an excerpt from Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, which I had read before. But yeah, I like that story in the other collection, so I was happy to read it again. It's not very long anyway. So yeah, finished with this. I've also read about 50 pages more of the Radetzky March. I read that this morning after I woke up. So yeah, I'm still quite enjoying it. I've got, I think, about 85 pages left. So now that I've finished garden stories, I would like to start some sort of like book that's not a novel, essentially. I like to have like a novel on the go and then something else to just like dip in and out of. So I have 2 options. The first one is Other People's Trades by Primo Levi. I picked this up in a charity shop a couple of months ago, and this is it's a collection of 43 essays that were originally written for newspaper publication. And basically it's like a few pages about someone else's trade. So it's just like describing their work. I think that Primo Levi writes really well about work. I read his collection of short stories, The Periodic Table, which is all about his life working as a chemist and sort of just episodes from his life from his work life that were interesting. So I'm quite interested to see how he approaches other people's work. So I think this could be a really good one. And again, like because it's 43 essays, it's not a very big book. It's 200 pages long, so I guess each one's going to be about 5 pages. That's quite manageable for me to read like 1 a night, 2 a night maybe. So that's an option. And then the other one is the Penguin Book of Korean Short Stories, which I got for my birthday. This one is on my summer TBR. Summer is very much dying a death here, so I should probably pick this one up soon. It's quite long. It's like 450 pages, and I mean they are all short stories, so again I could just like read one a day, so I could potentially pick up both of these at the same time and like try and read one of each a day. So I will decide that later. It's just before 8 o'clock. On a Saturday I start work at 10:30, which is pretty good. It's a shorter day on a Saturday. I only work one Saturday a month, which is also very good. And when you work the Saturday, you get the Monday off, so you still got like a full weekend. But yeah, as I said yesterday, Scott has gone on holiday for the weekend and taken the car. So I'm going to have to cycle to work. It's kind of looking cloudy, but I think I might leave a bit early and see if I can go and grab a coffee on the way. Well, I say on the way. There's no coffee shop on the way. It's probably about a 10-mile detour to get a coffee, to be honest. But as I said, I have an e-bike, so it's not particularly strenuous. It's just the time aspect. But yeah, I think if I leave in like 15-20 minutes, I should probably have time for a coffee as well. I was actually going to go for a swim in a loch nearby, but it's not looking very warm. And also, I realised that my swimsuits are in the car that Scott's taken with him. I think I maybe have one swimsuit in a cupboard somewhere, so yeah, I'll maybe just pack it anyway, just in case when I'm passing it looks nice. But yeah, that is my plan for the day. I'm hoping to get some more reading done this evening, but yeah, that's my update. I've just been for the coldest swim of my life. I was like cycling past this loch, so I was like, oh, I'll just go in. But yeah, I don't know if you can see, pretty rainy and cloudy, and it's like 12 degrees or something, so it's so cold now. But yeah, I'm just gonna cycle to work. And yeah, I think I'll have cycled about 20 miles this morning. So that's pretty good before a morning before work. So yeah, feeling pretty good. Even though it's very chilly. Hello, it is now after work and I've literally just got in the door. It's about 6:15. I am honestly so tired. I have cycled so far today, and yeah, it was like really windy cycling home, and yeah, it's an e-bike, but it's still like much more effort in the wind, so pretty tired. I've not managed to do too much reading today because obviously I've been at work. I did read some of the Radetzky March when I went for coffee this morning before work, so that was good. I think I will do a bit of reading before bed, but before that I'm about to have my dinner. I'm just going to have the leftovers of my strange chicken, broccoli, chickpea mash situation of yesterday. It was actually really, really tasty. It just didn't look the best. And I'm going to watch a film, I think. So I used to have a Mubi account, but it was like, I think it was like £12 a month, and I wasn't really watching very much of it, so I just cancelled it. And then they kept sending me all these emails, being like with special offers, and yeah, they finally got me last week because they sent me an email saying they had 70% off for 6 months, which was making it £3.50 a month. For 6 months, and obviously you can cancel at any time, so that was a really, really good deal. Even if I just watch one film a month, I feel like that's worth it. So I caved, and the main reason was because I really wanted to watch Perfect Days by Wim Wenders, which I watched last weekend, and I absolutely loved it. It was so good. And it's about a man that works as a toilet cleaner in these like really fancy toilets in Tokyo city centre, and just about basically days in his life. Like, it's very pared back film, not very much happens, you're kind of just following him going through his days, but it was so, so good. So I'm going to see what else I can watch tonight, so I thought I would take you through what's on my watch list. I keep adding things to my watch list and then I can't remember what they actually are. Hello, I've just come on to edit this video and realised that I seem to have stopped filming the bit where I actually talk through my watch list, so I'm just going to come on and do that just now. It does kind of take the interest of what I'm going to choose away, because I had now already chosen. So I ended up watching La Chimera, which I talk about in the next clip, but it's an Italian film that was out this year. But some of the other ones that I have on my watch list, I have Holy Spider, which is a Danish film that came out last year. I have Bergman Island, which is a French film about a couple that go on a writing retreat in the country, and then I think they sort of start to question their relationship. I have Priscilla, which is the biopic about Priscilla Presley, which came out in 2022, which I have not seen, and I think it got quite good reviews at the time. It looks really visually stunning. It's by Sofia Coppola, so her films are always really beautiful, so I'm definitely going to watch that at some point. I also have the newest Pedro Almodovar film, Strange Way of Life, with Pedro Pascal. I really like Pedro Pascal. I mean, everyone really likes Pedro Pascal. So again, and I really like Almodovar's work. So I will definitely get to that at some point. I have Close, which is a Belgian film that came out in 2022 about two sort of young boys going to high school and their friendship. It gets really good reviews, so I'll definitely watch that at some point. I then have Alice in the Cities and Tokyo Ga, which are two Wim Wenders films. As I said, I really enjoyed Perfect Days by Wim Wenders, so I want to go back and watch some of his older stuff. So Tokyo Ga is from 1985, is also, as the title suggests, set in Tokyo. So it'll be interesting to compare that with Perfect Days. I think it's more of a documentary type style. And then there's Alice in the Cities from 1974, which I know nothing about. It looks like it's black and white, so that'll be interesting. I have a few South Korean films. I have Decision to Leave by Park Chan-wook, which I think is more of like a thriller. And then I also have Thirst by Park Chan-wook. I don't know if I've watched any of his films, but I seem to have a couple of them on my watch list. I also have Beanpole, which is a Russian film from 2019, which looks really freaky, but it's getting really good reviews. And what else? Patterson, which is an Adam Driver film from 2016, and also Annette, which I started watching. It's also got Adam Driver in it. It was weird. It was like sort of half a musical. I was like struggling to follow what was going on, but I will try it again at some point. And then I have a Pablo Larraín film, Emma. I have seen his film No, which is about independence referendum in Chile. He's a Chilean director, so I'm kind of interested to see what this one's about. I think it's just newly been added to maybe. So those are the films that I will be trying to watch at some point. I'm just really bad at making time for films, I think, because they're so long. It's just like finding the time to sit down for like 2 hours straight in an evening and have the attention span for it, especially when it's a foreign film and you like it's why I actually prefer foreign films, because it forces you to like really pay attention, because you have to obviously read the subtitles, but at the same time like I need to have the headspace for it. But yeah, now that I have like my 6-month offer code thing, I'm going to try and watch as much as I can. I went for La Quimera, which I would highly recommend if you have access to it. Hello, so it is now the next morning. I didn't do very much last night, I was so tired. I watched most of La Quimera and I read one short story from my Korean short story collection and one essay from Primo Levi, and then I basically passed out. I then went back and watched the last like 20 minutes of La Quimera this morning, which yeah, it's a bit of a stupid way to watch a film. I was like so close to the end, but I was just so tired. It was a really, really good film. I would highly recommend. I don't really want to say too much about what it's about because it took me a while to figure out what was going on. So yeah, like I don't want to spoil it for people. Like I think that was quite a nice experience going in and trying to work out what was going on. But basically, very, very short version. It's about an English man living in Italy who has just come out of jail, and he sort of goes back to his town and reconnects with his friends. And he's suffered loss in his life. He's sort of coping with that. It was really beautifully filmed. It just came out this year or last year, I'm not sure. But it's set in the 70s or 80s. So yeah, it was just like beautiful Italian, like small village countryside, with lots of like 70s, 80s type fashion, quite realistic fashion, like not everyone was really well dressed. Yeah, really good, highly recommend. I don't want to say too much more than that. And yeah, so far, as I say, I've read one short story from the Korean short story collection. So these are grouped into categories. So the first category is tradition, so it's all sort of older stories from the sort of early 20th century. I think the earliest stories from 1930, so it's like a more recent selection, and there's nothing really, really old. And yeah, the first sort of 5-6 stories are all dealing with traditional Korean society. Then there's a section Women and Men, Peace and War, Into the New World. So yeah, they're definitely grouped in terms of theme, which is quite nice. And the first story I quite enjoyed. It was about a man working as like a wholesaler at a market, going from village to village. It was quite good. It was like 5-6 pages long. So I think I will just try and read one story per day. I think there are about 30-ish stories in this collection, so you know I would finish it over the course of like a month. So that's, yeah, I think I'm going to stick with that. And I also read the first essay in the Primo Levi collection. When I said yesterday what this was about, I don't think that was right at all. Because the first essay is him talking about his house, which obviously got nothing to do with other people's work. So when I read the introduction, it said that there were some essays that were personal, and then he was going to go on to discuss how the literary and scientific world meet. So yeah, not at all. I don't know where I got the idea from that it was like 43 different people's work, and him describing it. So I'm not sure, but yeah, I will again. I think I could probably, these are quite short, so I think I could probably read a couple of these a day, because otherwise, yeah, they're 43, so I'm going to be there for quite a long time, reading one a day. So that's that, and I've read like 20 pages more of the Radetzky March. So it's now 9 o'clock. I have been for a run this morning. I woke up not feeling very well actually, like I feel like I've got a bit of a cold coming on, so I drink a lot of water and hopefully hope for the best. But yeah, I had sort of like a 40-minute just easy run to do today. So I got that done first thing this morning. The one thing with where I live is it's basically all trail runs unless you want to run down like the one road. So I sort of just did a trail run through the forest. Yeah, just took it nice and easy, so that's good, that's done. And then I came back and finished La Chimera. Got a bit of housework to do, so I think I'm going to crack on with that. And then I'm going to see if I can finish off the Radetzky March. I don't have huge plans for today. I think Scott's home later, but not until like 5 o'clock. It's looking sunny-ish, but to be honest, like because I'm not really feeling great, I don't really want to cycle anywhere, so I think I might just sort of stay at home or like sit in the garden. No huge plans. So yeah, I'll let you know once I've finished the Radetzky March. And I think I probably have time, because I'm off tomorrow as well, to pick another book to start, so that's quite exciting. It is the 25th of August today, so I might try and pick something short-ish so that I can finish it before the end of the month. Not that it really matters, but like I do like to not carry loads of books over from month to month, because then when I come to do my September wrap up, it's going to be books from like August, and I'm definitely not going to be able to talk about them very succinctly. So yeah, I'm going to get on with some housework, and I will catch up with you later. Hello, it is Sunday afternoon and I have finished the Radetzky March, yay. This book sort of drained me towards the end, like, as I said earlier, I'm not really feeling very well today, and this book just got more and more depressing and like dark towards the end, which, yeah, I was like not hugely in the mood for. I did really enjoy it. I think I'm going to need a bit of time to digest my thoughts. I believe Joseph Roth is an Austrian novelist, or you know, at least a German language writer. And this book was written in 1932 and it takes place sort of up until the end of the First World War. Um, so at the time that he was writing for a German speaking audience, everyone would have had a very like vivid memory of World War One, of the sort of decline and fall of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. So I guess I'm missing a little bit of the context, but I don't think that you really need to know very much to understand what's going on. You know, it is very much leading up to the First World War for quite a large chunk of the book, and so they keep talking about like the Emperor's heir Franz Ferdinand, like before he's assassinated, so you can sort of see that all bubbling up. So it's quite interesting from that point of view, like historically. Joseph Roth is definitely trying to capture a period of time and a sort of way of being that's died out. At the end, like it was quite obvious where it was going, and it was just getting like quite heavy. But yeah, I'm finished, so that's good. So I'm going to pick up another book probably later on this evening. I'm not really done very much today. I went out for a walk and I tried to make myself some boiled eggs for lunch, but I don't know what was going on. The eggs just weren't boiling, so it was like inedible. So that was great. um, but yeah, I think I'm going to do a bit more reading later on this evening. So I have two book options. I'm trying to pick a short book that I think I can finish before the end of the month, and I don't want to be like rushing through it. So I have two options. The first is the Autobiography of My Mother by Jamaica Kincaid. I read my first Jamaica Kincaid back in June. I read Lucy and I really, really loved it. And so I saw this one in the charity shop and picked it up. I think this is sort of the story of Jamaica Kincaid's mother's life growing up in the Caribbean. I think it's going to be very rich and descriptive. And I think I will really love it. I'm just not sure if this is like 100% what I'm in the mood for right now. And the other option I have is Winter by Ellie Smith. I know it's not winter, but I took this at the library. I read Autumn years ago, like I think when it came out, so I think it was 2018 I maybe read it, and I thought it was okay. I didn't absolutely love it. And that's the only Ellie Smith I've ever read, and I want to like her. Like I would like for her to be an author that I enjoy. And so Winter is quite short. Like it looks longer than it is because the writing in this is like, can't really see it here, but it's really big writing. So I think I would get through this one pretty quickly. So I think this is the one I'm going to go for actually. I don't think you need to have read Autumn to understand Winter, which is good because I have read it, but as I say, like a very long time ago. So yeah, this follows completely different characters. And yeah, I'm ready for it. I think that when Ellie Smith wrote this quartet of books, they were very much meant to be of their time. So Autumn is very much about Brexit. This one came out in 2018 as well, so I'm not sure when I read Autumn. Maybe Winter had already come out when I read Autumn. Anyway, kind of relevant. So yeah, I guess this is sort of going to follow the same topics. Brexit, the Brexit vote was in 2016, so yeah, it's still quite timely at that point. So I don't know if this is going to be more about Brexit. I guess it's always interesting to read about these things years on, but at the same time, like Brexit's a period of time that I don't feel like I need to revisit. So we'll see how we go with that. But yeah, I'm going to start that. I'm going to read some more of my Primo Levi. I'm going to read some more of my Korean short stories, and I'm just going to chill out for the rest of the day because yeah, I like starting to feel worse as the day is going on, which is not good, especially since I had not been sick for a year. And then I got COVID like 6 weeks ago, so how can I possibly be sick again? I'm very annoyed about this situation, but never mind, here we are. Hello. It's now Monday evening, so I thought I'd just come on and finish off this vlog. I have had quite a nice day today actually. I went to the beach. I forgot to take any footage, but yeah, had a nice lunch. And yeah, I've done a bit more reading. I'm about 110 pages into Winter, and I'm quite enjoying it. It definitely is going to be quite a fast read. I'm like flying through it. I've not really spent too much time reading today, and yeah, I've read like 110 pages. Basically at the start we have a woman who has sort of like something in her eye that she is seeing as the head of a child. It's Christmas Eve and she's like speaking to this sort of ghost child that's not there. We then jump to her son who is due to come and visit her for Christmas, and he is just split up with his girlfriend, and he was meant to be bringing his girlfriend to his mum's house for Christmas. So he sees this girl sitting at a bus stop and he just invites her instead. So that's where we're at basically. So it's quite an interesting storyline. And it's written in quite an interesting way, especially like when the son first meets this girl at the bus stop, we hear all of his side of the conversation and then all of her side of the conversation. So like he's asking questions and we don't get a response until we flip to her side, and then we just got all of her responses and her thought process. So Ellie Smith is definitely a very experimental writer. She's definitely playing with form a lot here. So yeah, I'll definitely finish this before the end of the month. I am glad I picked it up. It's kind of what I needed, something a bit pacey, that I think I'll fly through. So in terms of whether this vlog has worked, I'm not sure. Like I still don't think I'm in the best reading headspace. I'm still sort of struggling to concentrate on things. And yeah, I still don't think I'm reading with as much intention as I should be. So um, it's been it's been interesting to try and have a sort of concerted effort at really focusing on my reading. But I still don't feel like it's maybe because I'm not picking up anything I'm absolutely falling in love with, or maybe anything that I pick up I wouldn't fall in love with because I'm not like in the right headspace. It's kind of hard to tell. But yeah, I think I'm going to make myself a nice TBR for September of books that I'm really excited to read, and yeah, hopefully next month I will have a much more successful time. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this vlog. It's been a little bit random, but yeah, I will be back for another video soon.